So first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming. You guys are awesome. I didn't know there were this many people in Canada. And I wanted to give special thanks to Spencer. He's been awesome in organizing this conference, this consciousness-raising Canadian conference, as I've been calling it. And thank him for inviting me here to speak with all you fabulous people today. Before I get started, there was one announcement that the hotel and the conference wanted me to give you before I start, and that is that there's some bad acid going around. So don't eat the brown acid, please. We're hearing reports that it's making people vote for Donald Trump. Thank you. All right, let's get to the presentation. So, oh, theater spelled wrong. We're in Canada. Let's fix that. There we go. Sorry. Mistakes, you know, they happen. So I'm going to talk to you about transgender stuff. I don't know if you know what that means. We'll get to that in a second. But by a show of hands, I want to see how many people personally know, I'm not included, y'all don't know me. How many people personally know a trans person? Fuck. All right, well, okay, a good deal of you, about 40%. Awesome. You guys aren't part of this talk. We'll have a talk later about your customs people. They don't piss me off. So we're going to start with some definitions. Definitions. Who do what? Well, of course. You're Canadian, but you're polite about it. So trans or transgender refers to a person whose sex that they're assigned at birth does not match the gender with which they identify. That's a lot longer, so I'm not going to read it. You guys have eyes, and you're literate, I think. Cis or cisgender is the opposite. I'll explain where the terms come from in a second, but cis just means that you identify with the gender and sex that you were assigned at birth. So that's most of you, about 90%. And so since there's one of me and most of you, that percentage is off by a little bit. But it's okay, it's Canada, it's whatever. These numbers are based on US stuff, much bigger population. Gender dysphoria. I was diagnosed with this. This was fun. This is a great day. It's a state of unease, discomfort, everything on that list that comes from your sex and gender not matching. It's not fun. And the last thing, hopefully you can read this. If you can't, I'm going to tell you what it says. It says passing. I added this because I realized I get this question a lot. Like, what does passing mean? And it means to be perceived as the gender you identify as. Hopefully I do. So, trans and cis are Latin. They're Latin words / beginnings of those words. There's a suffix. Suffix, that's the word. Thank you. I'm a linguist. I can do it. Prefix. I'm an adult. I have apple juice. Awesome. So, oh, well, that's not awesome. Let's not do that. Let's not do those things. Can we present? That would be fantastic. Squee. Let's kick through this again. Awesome. So who am I? And don't, it's Stephanie, oh my God. Like, you guys can, like, remember things. I'm male, which refers to my biological sex, which was assigned at birth. I am a woman. That's my gender. And I'm a trans woman, which is what I am by definition. That's facts. You guys like facts, right? I'm going to need a volunteer. Because everyone gets quiet. Not me. Is there a way I could put my hand further down? Women preferably. So, yes. Let's see. I will take you, my dear. Please come up here. Not you. You have a penis. Okay, sorry. Presumably. I don't want to make any assumptions. But if you do, I hope it's, Anyway. I'm going to have you pick up the mic. What's your name?
I'm
Remy? Oh, because we didn't turn this on because we don't want to do those things. That's too loud for me. Okay. Have a seat, my dear. So, Remy, you're a cis woman, I assume?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. This is going to be a fun interview. So, I just wanted to say how great you look. This is awesome. Does she not look good? Can I get a round of applause for how good she looks? That's great, right? It's amazing. I just want you to know that the first thing I noticed about you is that you wouldn't, when I'm looking at you, I wouldn't know you weren't trans. Isn't that cool? This is so great. So I just have a few questions for you. I just want you to answer them honestly.
Okay.
So, who was the first person you told you were cis to?
Probably my first transgender friend.
Awesome. Well, that's good. Do you have a vagina?
I do.
Fantastic. If anyone's, yes, right? Powerful thing. When was the moment that you really felt like a woman and your breast started budding?
22. Late.
Yeah, it's 22 months. So do you use tampons or pads?
Tampons.
Awesome. I do too. Nosebleeds. When you were going through puberty, did you feel trapped by the changes your body was going through?
Trapped by the changes my body wasn't going through.
Because she's 22. Do you feel like a girl?
Most of the time.
Just, okay, that's, you know what, I don't blame you. There's that 29th, 29th, 30th, and 31st day of the month, I got it. I wouldn't want to feel that way either. Do you feel like your identity of self, your cisness, holds you back in any way?
No.
Good, shouldn't. Privileged. What is the one thing you really just want to tell all these people about cis people? Since you speak for all of them. No pressure.
I don't know.
Well, I think you're incredibly brave for being a cisgender woman and coming up and helping me with this today. And I'll explain why this is awesome here in a second. Thank you so much. So, my goal was not just to straight up embarrass somebody in the audience. I promise. I just wanted you to notice something about those questions. Did it feel super personal and like just way messed up that I was asking her some of that stuff? Yeah? Yeah, that seemed really invasive. I'm sure she was like, I hate her now. It's okay if you do, I understand. Those are questions I get all the time, except directed at trans people. That all the time. And I have news for you. The answers to all those questions are none of your damn business. So, yeah. I don't feel that way all the time, but man, sometimes that's how it is. I wanted to give you guys a little demonstration of what you shouldn't do, because we're going to talk about some misconceptions, and we're going to start with some things. Hey guys, I'm straight. I like boys. Boys are hot. I'm not trying to trick you. I was just born with this awful deformity. So stop with that nonsense. I hear that a lot. You're just like, oh, you're tricking us. Or my female friends have told me that too. We're not trying to trick you. The process of transitioning. I'm pretty sure most of the people in here don't know a lot about it. But it's not one event. I didn't snap my fingers and be like, fabulous bitch. Didn't happen that way. It can start at any age. Has anyone heard of Jazz Jennings? Yeah, she started when she was 5 years old. Yeah, she was like this tall. That's crazy, right? She knew. She was the wrong gender. It's more than just hormone replacement therapy. It's also more than surgery, but we'll get to that later. Not all trans people get surgery. How crazy. It's like, I knew that was coming. There are several kinds of surgeries. There's facial feminization surgery. There's top surgery for trans men, which removes breasts and breast tissue and turns them into pecs. Makes them look manly, strong. There's also sexual reassignment surgery. And wow, I'm good. I'm psychic now. Give me your money. Okay. This isn't a congregation of Our Lady of Perpetual Exemption. That's only legal in the United States. So No, there's reasons. There's different reasons for the different kinds of surgeries. Some of them are pretty obvious. Facial feminization makes your face look more feminine or stereotypically more feminine. Higher cheekbones. They remove some of your brain because women are dumber. I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. It's the men who are idiots. No. And sexual reassignment surgery, obviously, you get your sex reassigned, though the details of that surgery I will not go into in this talk. Give you some resources that'll help you do that if you really want to look at like blood and surgery pictures. It's up to you. Transitioning is not the same for every trans person. I know trans people that can't start transitioning right now because they have medical conditions that prevent it. I don't know if you know a lot about hormones, but for instance, my regimen, having estrogen and testosterone blockers puts me at risk for, among other things, breast cancer, strokes, fun stuff. So if I fall over, you can blame my transition. Oh, fun. All this stuff is off the side. So I'll tell you what it says. On the left, this is Bruce Jenner. Everyone know who that is? Okay, it was as many as I thought. But Bruce Jenner used to be Olympic person, athlete, / I don't care. That was a picture taken from the interview he did on April 24th, 2015 with Diane Sawyer on ABC News. And you're like, wow, looks male for the most part. Longer hair, sure, you know, little tan, Rachel Dolezal kind of looking. But, you know, not actually trans, not just dumb. On the right is Caitlyn, same person. But that was on the cover of Vanity Fair 45 days later on June 6th. When I saw this, I could not have been more angry because it perpetuates some of the misconceptions I was telling you about before. This doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in 42 days. She'd been on hormones for a while, which is kind of obvious from how soft her skin was at the Diane Sawyer interview. But nonetheless, I mean, seriously, am I wrong? Look at that. There's a huge difference. I mean, she's good looking. I'm not hating. But there's a huge difference between the two. She has so much privilege, aside from the fact that, you know, she hangs with Kardashians. It's gross. So she has horrible fashion sense. That's all I'm saying. She has money and support. Even her mother, who's like, I don't know, 3 millennia old, supports her. She has access to proper trans care. Not a lot of people do. Most people don't. It's just, that got on my nerves, that we have someone in our community who was doing a great thing by coming out. Diane Sawyer interview, I was so behind it. I was like, yes, finally, we have someone who's gonna do the right thing and like make a documentary, and that didn't happen. She decided, oh, I'm just gonna snap my fingers and show you all on Vanity Fair how hot I am. That hurts us because it perpetuates the idea that it happens overnight, and it gives credence to those who don't want us to use the correct bathrooms. They're like, see how quickly this happens? See? Ooh, someone can come rape my kids because that's my goal. When I have to piss, I'm like, I need to rape a kid. Right after I pee, it's the first thing I'm doing. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's crazy. But that people actually think that way. And it's because of stuff like this, and it just, I want you to take away from that little rant against Caitlyn that she's brave and all those other things people have already said about her, but also that the way she came out is mildly damaging to us. And if you want to disagree with me, there are mics. You can come and talk to me later. Some of you know I'm fairly public about the fact that I'm trans. Hi, I'm trans, and I'm in a public space and giving a talk. I'm also on YouTube. If you don't know, I was on Thinking Atheist about a week ago. I'm on, okay. Seth's not that badass, everyone calm down. No, he is. He's amazing. Too bad he's not here. I'm on Dogma Debate once a month. I work for Richard Dawkins, I don't know, some hack biologist. But I want to show you some stuff I've actually gotten. Now, I pulled these comments from my AskFM account, from my YouTube channel, and from private messages I received from people. Some of them atheists. Yeah, I'm gonna spank you now. Curb this shit when you see it. You're just pretending to be a woman. Yeah, that hurts. You only believe you're a woman like Christians believe there's a God. There's a difference. Women exist. Just saying. Thanks for clapping. I needed apple juice. You're just a homosexual man, not a straight woman. It's just nonsense. I like boys much more than gay men. Ever will. Promise you that. Ask my friends. Being trans is just a mental disorder. I love that sigh. Who did that? You're my hero. If I, and this is a cis straight man saying this to me, am attracted to you, a pre-op trans woman, that makes me gay, and I want a woman with woman parts. Chaz Bono's a man, has woman parts. Just saying. Asshole. This probably is the one that hurts the most, and it hurts because it hurts friends of mine. Trans people who don't make an effort to pass shouldn't expect us to accept them as the gender with which they identify. Now, I cleaned up that grammar and the spelling so much. I can't even tell you that I don't even think they knew what apostrophes were or the space bar. Either way, doesn't matter. This might be the worst one because it makes your expectations and how you see them more important than how they see themselves. You guys don't get to dictate that for anybody. And you wouldn't do it to a cis person, would you? No, of course not. You wouldn't be like, Little Miss Lesbian, if you're not going to make an effort to look like a girl, I'm not going to treat you like a girl. No one would ever say that. No one. But if it's a trans person, it's all right. Someone can give you a to don't list. Honey, don't list. Something. I don't want to hear anyone say, now you can say this stuff, that's fine, but it just identifies you as a bigot. So just realize that. I'm not curbing your freedom of speech. Just if you don't want to look like an asshole and you want to be an ally, don't say this stuff. Oh, you're so lucky you don't have to deal with, in my instance, or in my particular case, oh, you're so lucky you don't have to worry about periods. You know that also means I don't get to have a child? Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I have to have cramps. You know what? I don't get to have the right genitals, and I don't get to have the experience of being a mother that way. So thanks. Don't need that reminder. Don't ask me personal questions unless I invite you to do so. You're all invited. Just letting you know. But if you just, don't just go up to a trans woman at a party and be like, hey, do you have a vagina yet? Guys, she doesn't have a vagina yet. I just asked. Have you had the operation? Horrible, awful question. There's not, like I said, there's not one. Don't ask that crap. Welcome to being a woman, or welcome to being a man. I don't need a party. I'm perfectly fine. I don't need to be welcomed. Yeah, we're going to talk about passing like the entire time. Do not talk about it. That is our word. There are other cultures that have certain words that are similar. This is ours. Don't make comments to me about being a real woman. What is a real woman? I'll wait. Crickets. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. Yes, there's more. There's more of these. This is a longer list than the next one. Don't give unsolicited advice about my appearance unless your name is Jen and you drove me to the airport and back. You can talk about me all you want. I'll never get your name or your pronoun right. No, because you're fucking lazy. I have a dog. Do you have any times people come up to me and go, oh, how old is he? And I'm like, she, do you see balls, is 5. And they'll say, oh, she, what's her name? Her name is Blossom. Oh, Blossom, what a cute little girl. When I ask to be treated this way, oh my God, it's so hard. You literally have to remember another thing. Ooh. Like, oh, you were Bob, and now you're Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Why the hell is that hard? Can someone explain this to me? You can do it for dogs, but humans like, whoa. Mm-mm. And dogs don't even get sex changes. Seriously. You'll always be a man or a woman to me, referring, of course, to how they were born. So you're telling me that they're always going to be a way to you, and so you're essentially saying, we're not friends anymore, because the person who you knew, technically, at least how I like to put it, is dead. Person is no more. Person you knew is gone. They are someone else. Or more precisely, they're living authentically as themselves. Get to know them, because that's who you know. Don't out anybody. Holy crap, this has almost happened to me multiple times. They're like, oh my God, this trans girl's here? Now, I don't mean to, Spencer's supposed to introduce me and put stuff that I send him. I'm not talking about him. But let's say we all went out, not all of us, but let's say a few of us went to, I don't know, what's a Canadian thing? Tim Hortons. And we went up to the counter to order, I don't know, literally anything. And someone was like, oh my God, do you know she's trans? That's not cool. That's not cool. What's wrong with you? Don't do that. I don't want you to make any assumptions about them. Don't be like, oh, I'll bet that's a tranny freak over there. I'm pretty sure. Don't do that. And I can say that because I'm thinking like y'all people. Yay, happy stuff. I'm sorry. Let's be happy. Let's do things. What can I actively do? You can use the correct name and pronoun. There's an idea. If you make a mistake, don't make a big deal about it. Don't be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I'm translating for you. In America, we say sorry. Y'all say sorry. You're wrong. Just move on. Just correct your mistake. Don't make it again. Be open to learning and being corrected. Most of us are atheists. Some of us are skeptics. I wish all of us were. It's a different talk. Sorry, don't mean to make them bleed. But you're not always right. You're probably going to be wrong most of the time. I'm wrong most of the time. And I do this all the time. Please be open to being corrected. I don't care what the context is. I don't care if you're at Thanksgiving dinner. Just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I did not know that. Maybe I could use Google or the internet and learn. Respect people's boundaries. Like, I don't want to be, dry humped by a hobo on the train, just like all of you guys do. Keep, your thoughts to yourself. Unless you absolutely just pull them aside and say, hey, I have a question for you. Are you open to answering questions? If they're not, leave them alone. Talk to them about the weather or Canadian football or hockey. Hockey's a thing here. Y'all are good at it. At least people know. This is the one thing. If there's anything I want you to do, there's a reason it gets its own slide. Treat them as you would treat any cis person, anybody else. If a trans person's an asshole to you, be an asshole back. Don't wear kid gloves with them. I'm an asshole a lot of times. And I have people treat me similarly. But just treat people as they come. Just leave your preconceptions and your stupid biases and your stupid bigotry at the door. Oh, this is my favorite slide in the whole world. So just real quick, we're going to talk about sexuality and gender. Now these are the two actual and non-overlapping magisteria I found. The other one's up for debate still. You don't know it? Science and religion? Yeah, that's a thing. David Hume. Thank you. Isn't it Hume? I think it's Hume. These are different things. And I'm sorry for the people on this side, but yeah. These are sexualities, right? This is the spectrum of, this isn't all the words I could use. But this is how people define their sexuality. Gay, lesbian, pansexual, straight, asexual, bisexual, Duggar sexual, for a very small portion of the American population. About one, but there's like 20 people that support it, underneath them, as it were. Your gender, on the other hand, is like female. No, go back. Thanks. Appreciate it. Female, trans. All right, I'm going to explain what the asterisk is for really quick. You all saw at the beginning slide, right? Big old asterisk. It doesn't mean that trans people took steroids and now we can't be in the, the history books of baseball. What it means is it's just standing in for all the things that can come after it. Trans man, trans woman, transgender, all those extra words. I'm going to use the correct word this time, suffixes, as opposed to last time. And then also gender neutral, gender queer, bigender. I'm not going to go into defining all of them, but there are lots of words, and they are very separate things. What I wonder is why people who are like, oh, so you're trans, so you must like boys, for me, which is, it happens to be true, but most of the trans women I know are bi or lesbian. Most, like overwhelming majority. Why is it so hard for us to grasp that trans people can have just as varied sexuality as cis people when we do it for cis gay people already? They're like, oh, you're a woman and you like women? Oh, I get that. You go to a trans woman, you like women? Ah, my brain, I can't, that hurts. I've actually had people like go, well, how does that even work? I don't know how the fucking magnets work. Just shit, right? So stupid. I don't understand. But remember, they're different things. They're very different things. Now, while I'm giving you a talk and educating you about trans issues, I want you to know that we're not responsible for educating you. And specifically in this context, there was a guy named Andrew Sullivan who wrote a Slate article. And I have the links up here with bit.ly links where you can see the original articles in the Slate article. Or the original being the one he was responding to, which is called Engaging the Teen. And the highlighted part is the part I want you to notice. He says, I think we should be more understanding of this, be as open as we can be, and answer the kinds of questions some might feel inappropriate or offensive. That's the basis for dialogue, empathy, and progress. Now, while I want to agree with Mr. Sullivan, he's not going to tell me when or how I educate or talk to anybody. I'm sorry. Fuck you. It's my decision. And for someone like that to be telling me that I owe them something, I owe them an explanation, I don't owe you shit. All right? And before you go, oh my God, she's so mean. She won't tell us things. Oh no. I want to give you some resources. Sound good? All right, where's my thing? There it is, there's my thing. It's a technical term for mouse. Who's heard of Google? Just a few. Yeah, it's a small company based out of California. No one really knows what it is. But it's a great tool because there's this magic box on their site where you can type shit into it and get shit out. You have to know what to search for. So I thought I'd help you guys with a site that I love because it's so passive-aggressive. It's very easy to do. Was that so hard? Watch. Ah, that's nuts. How does that work? Holy shit. That's crazy. How did I do that? It's like the internet's a thing. So there's all these resources. If you are just dying to know about us, I would encourage you to try and do it a little bit on your own, not because we don't want to help you, We have lives to live, and those lives do not revolve around educating you guys. That's what I do. But fellow trans people of mine don't want to hear it. They don't, how many atheists here are just tired of having debates with religious people? Like most of you. Some of you are activists, some of you aren't. The ones that aren't are sick, fucking tired. Every religious person you know, oh my God, so why don't you believe it? Are you mad at God? I mean, God. That's how we feel. That's how we feel all the time. Hello, mouse. Could you be more in sync? Fantastic. Cheers. Cool, so instead of just Google, here's some actual resources. And I made bit.ly links for you. I'm going to leave this up for a minute. But GLAAD has some great resources. They're on there twice because they're so good at it. Sylvia, I can English. I won't let your French screw me up. The Sylvia Riviera Law Project has an amazing More Trans 101. So if you want to know more, but you still want to stay as a freshman, you can go there. Transpeoplespeak.org, transwet.org, and Tranifesto. A lot of trans. I hope that's indicative. I hope you get, hope that's obvious. If you want these and you're not feverishly putting them into your phone right now because it would be rude, or if you want them later, you can email me. It's Stephanie@thinkskeptically.com, or Mr. What's your name? Spencer? It's just some guy who put together this whole awesome conference. If you want to know more, you can also email me at stephanie@richarddawkins.net. That latter one's probably much easier to remember. So I will happily email all of these to you. No problem. Free of charge even. Right? I'm not a televangelist. I have morals. Humanism for the win. So, I think, for now, I want to open it up for questions, but before I let you do that, you can line up, there's a microphone or something. You can stalk me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll tell you about this later. Or you can watch me by going to youtube.com/thinkingskeptically. If you guys have ever seen Steve Shives, I've done a ton of videos with him recently. I'm also doing a video with Creationist Cat coming up. Yeah, Lord's chosen cat. Gonna get a beat down. The skeptic is gonna whip his ass into shape. So, thank you for indulging my spanking of all you people. Appreciate it. And I have time for a couple questions. And we're going to start with the first guy, because he's first.
I am first.
Hi, first.
I have a lot of questions. First,
Should I sit down?
First, I'll say thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate the information that you've given us and the resources for everybody to get a hold of. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to ask you all my questions because it'll take too long.
I'm available after. We can talk.
Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner. During Barbara Walters' interview, was asked, since he now identifies as a female, if he is bi, gay, straight, and he gave a loose answer. Just look on his face. He didn't really answer the question. Mm-hmm. He said he's straight without really getting into it. It's kind of confusing, and she was like, well, and he's like, yes, I know. Kind of, so I'm thinking, well, if he's born, for lack of a better term, he's born male, mm-hmm. is now female, but likes females, mm-hmm. but he claims he's straight. How does the LGBTQ community reconcile that?
That's a good question and an easy one to answer, thankfully. At the time that he gave, and I'm using the pronouns temporally, so you know, not intentionally being a bitch. When Bruce gave that interview, he was correct in saying that he was straight. When he transitioned, Caitlyn still likes women, so Caitlyn is lesbian. That's the easiest way to tell you.
Very good.
No, it's a good question because it really depends on when the interviews happened, when the questions were asked.
Right.
It's a perfectly good question.
Very good.
Yes.
And a quick follow-up. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem.
As couples enter a relationship, and we're talking, let's say, a male-female.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about certain things. They talk about likes, dislikes, things in common, things not in common, religion, atheism. Child rearing is one of those things that people talk about. I want kids. Oh, you don't. This isn't going to work. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It does happen.
Right.
I have seen in the news recently a debate whether trans people should legally be obligated to inform a potential partner of their gender change. What's your thoughts on that?
No, those are good questions. I only kind of, sort of touched on it a little bit in some other things, but I will tell you kind of from my experience. I'm actually quite terrified most of the time when I meet guys because this might be a shock to most of you. Most of them don't know that I'm trans. And so when we do things that I won't mention, afterwards I'm in this really awkward position. Like, oh crap, I didn't tell them beforehand, and they could hurt me. A lot of trans violence happens because of trans panic. Do you know how scary it is to be with a guy and be like, oh my God, I like him so much, but if he finds out that I was born a different way, he could kill me. It scares me to death. I don't think we should be legally obligated. I think it's an ethical thing, honestly, involving the law. I don't need a government small enough to fit in my pants. Nope, they're trying to do that with women in the United States. I don't think it should be legislated. It's kind of a tough question for us because we want to be honest with our partners, but we also, want to continue living. It's a good thing. So it's, to me, kind of an ethical thing. I know this isn't the answer you wanted, I'm sorry, but
No, I didn't want a specific answer, I want your answer.
my answer is it's up to the individual people. And I'm open about it, and I do that for my safety. And I think most trans people should be open about it for their safety if they can be. Because the fear with not telling them is just horrific. Yes?
Stephanie, you made the comment that most trans people are atheists, and I'm just wondering why you think that is.
Oh, no. I hope I didn't say that. I hope I didn't say that. There's a lot of trans people that are atheists, but there are a lot that aren't. I know a lot of my trans friends happen to be atheists, but I actually kind of irritated a trans Muslim woman. Because she's like, no, I still believe in Allah. And I was like, so he fucked up? She did not like that answer at all. She's like, yeah, we'll leave it there. But it's happened. There are religious people that are trans, and it's just as perplexing to me as people like, I'm gay and I believe in God. It's like, oh. Have you read Leviticus by any chance? How about Romans? You done? No, you have? Okay. Did you see the part where you're excluded? Okay, just want to make sure.
Hi, Stephanie. Thanks.
Yay,
so
a
much.
woman!
Yeah.
Finally! No.
I actually heard you on The Thinking Atheist the other day, and I think you did an awesome job.
Well, thank you.
I like that podcast a lot.
I had great guests to support
You
me.
did. And I actually have a Caitlyn Jenner question.
Yes.
Yeah, because so I'm so out of the loop. So correct me if I'm wrong. She's an athlete, yes?
Was.
Because at the end of that podcast, didn't they say that she's now competing in a female sport right now?
I don't know if she's competing professionally. She might be. The one thing I have seen, because I don't watch the Kardashians, I refuse to watch that show, even with her on it. Yeah, I know. It's not quite as awesome as Orange is the New Black. But she's still athletic. She stays in shape.
So my question is, if she's professionally, being a professional athlete, and she's kind of switched into female sports, does that at all give her an advantage?
Yes, I love this question.
Okay,
You
thank
kick
you.
so much ass for asking this. Because it's coming from a place of honesty, there are actually people that say this. So one of my big heroes, person who I first came out to, and someone, although she doesn't remember me, who is making a lot of headlines in this same arena, and I can probably speak better to her experience, is Fallon Fox. Fallon Fox is a MMA fighter, female MMA fighter. And Ronda Rousey, bitch, come at me, that's cool, won't fight her. She won't fight her. And it's because she's trans and says that it gives her an unfair advantage. Did anyone see Ronda Rousey fight? I don't, but I heard about it. I heard it took 19 seconds. Anyone that says 14, it's even better. Probably took 5 seconds to raise up her arm. She beat someone's ass in 14 seconds. Are you telling me that? Look, I love Fallon. She would lose. Look, I'm just saying, I love her to death. Here's the thing. Here's why. Here's a couple of reasons why it doesn't give any unfair advantage. When you take hormones as long as we end up doing, our bodies essentially become extremely female, including muscle mass, how muscle's built, where it's built, same with fat distribution, all those things. To claim that she has an unfair advantage is not scientifically based, just period across the board. Earlier in transition, maybe I could give you that. But have you guys seen female bodybuilders? Yeah, huge, huge. No judgment, but damn, those girls are ripping. So, no, there's no advantage. And to assume that, and I know you weren't assuming, you were asking. Same thing with Caitlyn. You're on hormones long enough. There's no advantage at all. Mm-hmm.
Hi, I work in medical school. I'm an administrative assistant technically, so I don't have a lot of pull, but I've been working trying to identify other people, higher up faculty, et cetera, just trying to agitate a bit and really make getting out of the gender binary more of a focus. I work mostly with first and second year medical students, and I am looking personally for ways to fit trans people into the curriculum at that level, like so introduction to people, here is how to take blood pressure and also gender. This might be too much of a question for this, but is there something in particular that you would want doctors to be aware, like just in a very general introduction to hello, like do you have anything off the top of your head that like you would really want me to tell them?
Well, I would, off the top of my head, I just have hair, so I don't know how useful it's going to be to you. But to seriously answer your question, this is going to be a really simple thing, and I know this doesn't have anything to do with medicine, but I had an urgent care place do this. It's like I said earlier, hair, go away. They should use the pronoun and the name with which they either, they identify and want to be called, regardless of their legal paperwork. Sometimes our paperwork isn't done when we go to the doctor yet. Like changing my ID took 5 months. And when I mean changing my ID, I mean getting my name changed with the state, then getting a new driver's license, getting a new social security card, getting a new passport. This all took very, very, very long time. In between, I might have to go to the doctor maybe, and that's the one thing I want them to do. The other thing I want them to do that is very simple is put more options on your forms. So when someone comes in, and this happens at my clinic because the clinic I go to is LGBT friendly, heavily focused on T. You go in and any form you fill, the gender says male, female, trans man, trans woman, other. 5 options. And other gives you the opportunity to write things. That actually gives them the opportunity to update the form later if they notice that one is becoming more prevalent, they can add it. And so they, things like that. But that's what I would have them do first. Because of all the things that will make the doctors more aware is having to see that on a form and see that it's checked And then also saying like preferred name and pronouns next to that. That would be the easiest thing.
Can I follow up question?
Of course.
So there's a movement, there's been a movement where when you're doing a basic interview, instead of assuming heteronormativity, that you'd say, when you're taking a sexual history, for instance, you say, so do you sleep with, how many sexual partners have you had? And so they've sort of moved to saying, do you sleep with men or women or both? But I think that's also kind of reductive. Like, do you have a thought about like, how would you want to be asked that?
I would rather the first thing you said, just how many sexual partners have you had?
Like in a more general.
Yeah, because you don't know me. I could have fucked a couch. You don't know.
I'm not here to judge.
You don't. Yeah, you don't know. Like, and I
Some
say
couches
that
are very
jokingly,
nice.
but having just being able to say like I have had X sexual partners. This many have been male. This many have been female. Or saying like I've had 7 partners. 2 of them were male, 3 of them were female, and 2 of them were trans.
Thank you.
No problem.
We have time for one very quick question before we break for lunch.
Just real quick, before you bogart me, her hair is lovely.
Thank you.
It's a very pretty red. Hi.
Hi. So I'm the coordinator of the Glow Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity at University of Waterloo. So I do have some pretty good LGBT allies come to me and asked me. So they couldn't understand it because they really want to support trans people, but if they don't pass, then they think that they couldn't really consider them as like whatever gender they identify with. So what should I say to them?
My initial thing would be something very not nice, so I'll avoid that one. If they're just coming from a place of ignorance and they're just like, I just can't do it, be like, listen, your shortcomings, your inability to do something, should not affect someone else. If you have a hard time with it, practice. Look at their picture over and over, and I'm serious. They either need to practice or they need to come to terms with the fact that gender expression is a spectrum, huge spectrum. How many people see someone with short hair from behind and oh, it's a dude, and they turn around and you're like, oh, that was Ellen DeGeneres, awesome. Whoops. All I'm saying is that kind of stuff, that kind of expression's very variable, even among cis people, right? So it would just be pointing out oh, you wouldn't have this problem with a cis gay woman, or what have you. You wouldn't have a problem with their expression, so why are you gonna have why would you have a problem with their expression?
Yeah, and there's one pretty rude comment that I've heard is that a friend said that, okay, if I think I'm a tree, then they'll send me to the mental hospital, but if I think I'm a man or a woman, then that's fine. So what do you think about that?
This is similar to the Rachel Dolezal thing. When it comes to thinking you're a tree and why that's a mental illness, there are these new things that we have called doctors and psychiatrists. Don't know if you've heard of them. They have heavily studied being transgender and gender dysphoria. And in the course of their scientific look, they went, oh, this is an actual thing. This exists. This happens to people. There is no such studies for, I'm a tree. Maybe you're smoking too many trees. Just a thought. That's kind of what I would tell them, that the scientific base, look, all I'm saying, it comes out later that being transracial's a thing, right, that you could prove, or being a tree, or a furry, or whatever else. I will support it then, but until there is scientific evidence for it, yeah, I'm doing this scientific evidence thing again. If there's scientific evidence for it, then you have no basis upon which to doubt it. And if there is no scientific basis on which to base it, then you have no reason to believe them. Sound familiar? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.